Meeting of the Hardeeville Community Transformation Foundation. There is a quorum present. Let's do the welcome and introduction. I know we have a number of applicants out in the hallway waiting to present, and so we are going to do our best to kind of stay on a fairly strict schedule today. We're going to try to be a machine, get them in, get the presentations, and then move on to the next one so that we can get done hopefully by sometime early this afternoon. All right, so first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed indicate by saying nay. All right, the agenda is approved as presented. Next is the approval of the minutes, and this is the minutes from our last meeting, Neil?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
A motion.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those indicate their support by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the minutes are adopted as presented for the June 12th, 2025 meeting. Next is the appointment of a new president. So the floor is currently open for nominations. Is there a nomination on the floor?
I nominate you, sir.
All right, there's been a nomination for myself to serve as chair. Are there any, or I'm sorry, as president, is there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll close the floor to nominations. Only having received one nomination, is there a motion to move forward with this appointment?
I make the motion.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All righty. Well, thank you all very much. Appreciate the voluntold aspect.
Congratulations.
I mean, you've had one meeting in place already, so
That's right.
That's
That's right.
good.
We'll just keep rolling. All right. Next is the presentation of the financial report. Mr. Boyle, would you please give the report on behalf of the foundation?
Happy to. Oh, I'm going. That's me.
Okay. Thank you. While we're doing that, I will let you know that from the am I supposed to be talking into this? Okay. The it's only 5 of you, 6 of you. The city is currently undergoing its fiscal year 2025 annual audit. That will be wrapped up, we anticipate, if not today, Monday. Things are going well. And of course, the foundation is a part of that audit. When the audit and then the what we call the Popular Annual Financial Report, or PAFR, is done, and what that is, for those of you who don't know, is governments present a user-friendly, non-financial jargon summary with some graphs and details and highlights. And the city has done that for the last 4 or 5 years. GFOA has recognized it as meeting all its criteria and everything. So when those two things are available, I'll make sure that this board has the links and knows that those things are available. So that said, just a very quick summary of where we were from a balance sheet standpoint for assets and for liabilities for both at the end of June and where we were at the end of October. You can see nothing really outlandish as far as the balance sheet is concerned. Now the question would be, revenues are over expenditures. That's why you see the red number. That's in that far column. So just don't want anybody to get nervous with the red bracketed numbers. I think that's for us accountants to do. So if we could go to the next slide.
Well, just to make a statement there, John, also a lot of that types of money and stuff, it gets moved over back and forth between the city budget and over to the foundation
absolutely.
budget.
Yeah.
So you may see a red at one point, then all of a sudden it goes into black as we move funds over or whatever to cover.
Yeah. Okay, and then you'll see the budget comparison for what we had for the fiscal year that ended in June, and then the fiscal year that we had, or that started on July 1st, that ends in June of '26. Pretty much apples to apples. We did decrease our workforce training budget a good bit based on what we're seeing and some of the things that may come out of that program and how that program may morph and be combined with other people. Neil, I'm sure at some point has already shared with you that information. And then you see, again, for the fiscal year that ended, the original budget, the final budget, what the activity was, and then what the transfers were. So you see the transfers there again in red, and then you'll see that the activity and the budget remaining, and what you're seeing there is that the revenue was over what we had anticipated, and then the expenditures were substantially under what the budget was. So a good year, but again, we're not trying to stockpile funds or anything like that. We're not trying to build a war chest. We have these funds so that we can do these grants and do these programs like I'm sure is what's coming up behind me. So that's that. And then you see where we were, again, same scenario, but this is what's happened through the end of October. Again, similar situation. You'll see that our revenues for the year have only been $2,100, but yet we've spent $96. Again, that's simply a matter of the revenues for the year have not shown up yet, but of course we do have that fund balance so that we can make the grants which is really what we're here for. And I was asked to make it short and sweet, and I tried to do that, so happy to answer any questions. Just so you know, I'm getting used to being able to see it rather than have to look down at it, so I'm not looking over your heads or anything like that.
No worries. Thank you, John. Quick question for you. So knowing the current adopted fiscal year budget for the foundation and the current rate of expenditures that you're seeing, do you have any concerns about where we are currently within the foundation's budget?
No, my anticipation and in my conversations with Neil is, we're proceeding according to the plan.
Okay. And today we're going to be hearing from a number of organizations that are all seeking out grants. And I don't know if that would be a good question for you or a good question for Neil, but what did we have budgeted for grants as far as this particular fiscal year?
Let me answer one question first. The grants that we're funding today is from our DA fees for educational services.
Yep.
And we've tried to keep that on track. Last year, I think we did about $220,000, but we had a large one that went out to TCL at $150,000. Each year, trying to keep that in that $125,000 range or under. And I mean, it's going to fluctuate there based on our values and stuff that we have in the DA fees. We're sitting okay as far as the city standpoint, as far as educational DA fees and stuff that is available. I don't have that amount in front of me, but at the same point, I mean, it's so that's kind of the ballpark of what the next set of grants and stuff coming after us is kind of falling under. So we do have a budget in place. That is, the money is coming from the DA fees for those type. So we have, and then as far as it included in the budget, I'm sure that we've listed it on one of these pages here somewhere. So once I find it, so
you indicated that the current appropriation amount is somewhere around 120,000. That's the
yeah,
target.
that was the target. I mean, and I think we got a total of 11 applications today. You got several that fall in that 10,000 range. Then you got some that's listed for the 25,000 range. Knowing that our scores, that once we grade those, is based on the mean average percentage, and all of a sudden, even though they ask for 10, they may get 7. So and that's so we should be getting the stuff there as far as the budget.
I think it's just good for the board to understand kind of what the budget is that we're
is correct.
working
Yeah.
with. And obviously, there's some flexibility here, but just understanding kind of what the target is.
And I anticipate that being every year, almost that 125 to 150 range, unless we have the way we currently have the grant guidelines. If a college comes to us, college or university, comes to us with a capital construction project, we can fund that one at a higher rate. But everything else is 25,000 and under. We want to make sure our monies go, and cover as many people as possible for as many years as we receive those monies, so.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, sir. Any questions for John?
Thank you all. If you do have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email me, and we'll get you answers as quickly as we can.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on our agenda is an update regarding the new logo for the Hardeeville Community Transformation Foundation. Neil, can you provide that
We
update?
do need a motion to approve the financial report. as
Oh, I'm
presented,
sorry.
so.
Yes, can I receive a motion to adopt the financial report as presented?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the budget report as submitted is adopted. All right, now we'll move into an update on the, the logo and the website.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and handle both 7 and 8
That's
together.
fine. I think if you, on that side, you probably can see the board that we put up in front of the chairs there, and it's also, the logos on top of the agenda. This is something that we discussed at the last meeting. We worked through several different samples back and forth on, saying, hey, this is, how to improve it, what looks good. I think this overall was the final recommendation as we came back. And, we worked with, to get this in place and try to move us forward and to be that more professional approach that we want to be. And with this and the website both. And so if you have any questions or anything about the logo, I'm happy to answer, so.
Any questions about the logo and you want to touch on the website as well?
Yeah, so the website, let me bring that up right quick. So here's the website, and this you guys have not seen this yet. So this is we had worked with one of our former employees that has done website design, and she basically several meetings back and forth with her, and also our IT director as well, trying to put together a website that makes sense, kind of clean, and it's available, it's complete. Now what we'll do is turn it over to our people in our media department to help us update and maintain as needed. So what she did was kind of help develop the backbone and it's basically pretty simple, as you can see here. I mean, we keep it pretty clean. You have your you have your board of directors, you have different things of that sort, your mission. Here's your board of directors. It lists.
My picture.
Change your picture. Anybody needs picture changes, we can change those. We got the programs, which is the sponsorships and the grants and scholarships. That
I had a professional one done, just so,
so you see some good information and stuff that we have. I mean, at the same point, I mean, this will grow too as we grow, but this puts us in line with that professional type of output and stuff that we want to try to seek. And as we move forward and stuff, there'll be larger pots of money and stuff that we go after on the national foundation type sectors. And, we have to have all these tools and look legit before we do so. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll send you all the link once this meeting's over, and you all can go through and we can start updating and stuff accordingly now. We've not advertised this. This is live, but nobody's looking for it. So until we start showcasing what that website information is, nobody's going to be searching for it or finding it. So then once we make sure it's ready to go out there, we'll start promoting and stuff as much as possible. So.
Neil, I'll tell you, I also like the idea of, at some point in time, being able to take all of the applications that have been received and then putting them on the website somewhere, and that way they're accessible by the public so that they can see what was asked for, and then also a report of what we ultimately end up awarding so that they can understand kind of the life cycle of here's what was received and here's what was awarded.
And we may have some of those already. I know we have the actual applications itself on there as far as talking about what we're offering, what programs. And I thought we had some of the information awards on there as well. So Well, like I said, I'll send this out to you guys, and we also have a donate button that's live and active too. That, I mean, as we push this out there, we'll try to get the donations and stuff coming through as well. So,
And the foundation has received its 501c.
yeah, so we received that when we first started established the foundation. So we have all that in place, and that's allowed us to go after the monies and stuff thus far what we've done. So.
I think it's important to make clear to the public that any donations that might be made could be tax deductible.
That is correct. And I mean, we also have, I mean, the city itself gets donations and sponsorships too, but anytime that an organization wants to use the foundation to move that money to the foundation back to support the city, that's what the foundation was built for. So that's also going to be advertised and stuff as needed if we need to do that route as well. EJF Philanthropies is a organization that helped start this program out with the initial. They gave us $350,000 of seed money to kind of start the workforce training program that kind of geared to the nonprofit status moving forward. They have came back each of the following years and continue to give us money from a national level foundation. Last year they gave us $45,000 basically, and this year too, $45,000 that was unrestricted funds that we could utilize for such things as paying for the logo development, paying for any type of website design. So it has gave us some administrative costs and stuff that we didn't have, but we have that money and stuff that's unrestricted and allowing us to move forward paying for these items. So.
All right, any questions for Neil on the new logo or the website?
I think it looks great.
Yeah, I do too.
I think you did a great job, Neil. Thank you. I'd say it's probably a good opportunity that maybe at the January city council meeting, one of them, to do a report on the awards that ultimately come out of this process, but then also use that as an opportunity to kind of notify the council of the formalization of some of those
Yeah,
things.
we will, and I think they'll appreciate that. We've not presented to them on behalf of the foundation in probably more than a year or so.
Yep, I think it'd be a good opportunity to kind of reconnect with them just for a quick 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so we are up to item number 9, which I think is going to be the bulk of our meeting today. And so this is the update on the discretionary grant program for nonprofits. Neil, is there anything you want to say about the process?
So we
to
have
start it
two
off?
things here going on. So we have a 9 and 10. So the 9 is discretionary grants. So those are the grants, as mentioned that previously, that was controlled by city MOUs. And we talked about this at the last meeting. We basically, and what you have in front of you here that you see is the spreadsheet that you have 7 participants that fall under that MOU category. That MOU runs out either next year or the following year. And at that point, we would open that discretionary grant program up to everybody to apply for. But right now, you can kind of see who got the discretionary grant monies. And that monies that is approved by the city budget, and then also moved over to support these projects. So.
Okay.
So as you can see there, you have a total, I think, 7, and you have them different ranges, with the highest being $21,000 to Jasper County Council on Aging. So any questions there? And those are ones we don't have to score until we change the process and open that up to everybody to be able to apply for. So.
Okay. So the first round of organizations that we have here starting at 10:30, those are all under the discretionary grant program, and then the second round.
No, those are under the education workforce. So this is 2 different, so the discretionary grants we've already awarded. So that was back in, I think it went out in August. So that money was already awarded under a different pot of money. So
Okay.
so the next item on your agenda, you go through 9, the next item is 10. 10 is talking about the education workforce training programs. That's what everybody is here for. At 10:30 and 11. And so you have the nonprofits and you have the schools that have to have some sort of tie with the workforce training or education in order to go after those type of grants. So you do see some duplicates on there. You see some people that was awarded under discretionary grants under a different type of program that they had asked for, but you'll also see those applicants back for the educational portion of it as well. So
But all of the requests that we're going to hear today should fall under the workforce training.
that is
grant
correct.
program.
That is correct. Yes, sir. So if you move forward with item number 10, when we talk about that, you also have a spreadsheet on here that I know that you have the packet in front of you. I've made copies again for everybody. I did forward the copies of each of the applications and stuff so we could kind of get a jump start on scoring. But the spreadsheet and stuff you've got in front of you that's also in your packet kind of gives you that quick, dirty overview of the 11 applicants that have reached out to us, what they've asked for in the amounts and stuff in that area and what category. So under your grant guidelines, which is also in your packet, it kind of showcases there's different types of purposes that each of these applicants can come after. So I think there's a total of 4, 5, 6 different areas. If it's operational wise, it's $10,000. If it goes to a kind of a minor improvement as far as capital, it's $25,000. Then we have it guidelines set up. If it's a capital construction for a college or university, it can be a higher amount as determined by city council direction. So.
I think for the benefit of the board members that have been on here for a while, we're going to go through a little bit different process this time around than I think what we've done in the past. And so I think that the process is going to involve having the applicants actually come in and make a brief presentation. I can tell you, I asked for that because in my experience, you get a lot more information, even if it's a short conversation, and can understand better the intent of what they're trying to do than sometimes what you can just get by reading off a proposal on a piece of paper. But with that, I do think we have to be fairly disciplined in making sure that these don't roll into 20-minute conversations, because if we're going to have a 20-minute conversation with each of them,
We'll be here for a while.
we'll be here all afternoon. So I think the target was around 5 minutes.
That's what we
person.
anticipated. Around 5 minutes. They can or cannot have a visual. It's up to them. We told them if they did have a visual, they would bring it on a thumb drive. They keep the slides down to a very minimal. Just understanding that with this application process as set up, that's based on the guidelines. I did go through and vet each of these applications to make sure that they've given us the things and stuff that's required. So you can see some of the attachments and stuff that they provided on your actual PDF of the document that you have in front of you. Yeah, because some of them provided more, yes, and so that goes into the scoring and stuff. You'll see that. But each of the applications fits the guidelines that we put forth, and all are allowable to at least scoring or different things of that sort. Now, this is not to say that we're cutting anybody out as far as nobody's getting any of the dollars, everybody's getting all the dollars. Our hope is that every application that was presented will get at least a amount of the application amount that they requested, so based on how we score.
Okay. Knowing that we're going to be operating under some fairly constrained time limits, I also want to make sure it's clear to the board members that you need as much information as you need to feel comfortable in order to make a decision. And so if there are questions that we don't have time to get answered today, please send those to Neil, and we will send those to the applicant and then share them back with the board. That way you get everything answered, even if we may not have a time to address it today, okay? Okay. Are there any questions on the process, what we're going to be looking at in terms of hearing from the applicants, or how we're going to go about scoring? Actually, that does raise a question that I have.
Okay, the scoring.
Yeah, the scoring. Do you want us to look at scoring each one after they've given a presentation, or do you want us to look at scoring them after we've heard from everybody?
I would score after you hear from everybody to keep it moving.
Okay.
And because we are going to go into executive session, make notes if you need to make notes. As it's set up, we've got 10 points will be awarded for the presentational view of the project or the application.
Okay.
The other 30 points comes from the written application. So we will go in the executive session. We will review each of those. For the ones that haven't scored theirs, we'll take the time and let them score the paper ones, but also talk about and score the presentations and stuff at that point. So.
Okay. So you've prepared some score sheets, I think, to assist with that. Can you walk the board through kind of how you think that those should be appropriately filled out?
Yeah, so each of the applications here, so you've got that's binded together here. You've got the 10:30s, then you've also got the 11 o'clocks. So they're in order based on when they're coming in. So the scoring thing is basically set up as easy as possible that makes sense to us. So it's on a 1, 2, or 3 basis, and you've got identifications on each of the 3. So in order to score, as far as the written application, you'll actually have to read the application itself from beginning to end and then go back and fill out the sections of it. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have, like the application doesn't necessarily match up identically to what the, say, the impact, but all that information is listed in the application. It may not be in the exact order that the score sheet is in. So the way when I've reviewed these, I always read from beginning to end, then go back and kind of fill in and the areas and stuff that it talks about. The presentation is on, like I said, 10 points. I did not put a strict criteria on that. So that's open to our opinions on how they present and if we think we got the information and stuff on there. So I did not say that 0 to 10, this is how the presentation and stuff will be scored. So it's up to 10 points based on each individual, how they feel, how they presented, so. So you have a total of, I think, 3 sheets? I think it's a total of 10 questions.
Okay.
Then we'll have the mean average of our scores, and it goes together. I've got, I'll show you the calculation once we go into exactly whatever, and it'll once we add these scores up, it shows you the percent whatever that they would be funded by, so.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So I took the stuff you emailed and I printed it out.
I did.
So it's not in the same order from the email, which is fine. But are these the sheets that we're scoring off of that I have right here? I'm just trying to make sure I have the right sheets.
Yeah, I mean, and you also have in your packet itself, you actually have the PDF of the application, which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I printed out the
Okay.
application.
Okay,
and
so
reviewed
that,
them
so
too.
the overview of the sheet just gives you that overview. You have to refer back to that PDF application to get you the full, some of them have 6 pages, some of them have 9 pages.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's a lot of information to try to get on a spreadsheet that you all could read, so.
Okay.
Any other questions about the scoring sheet or how we're going to go through having these interviews? Okay. Neil, I know that we're just a couple minutes early, but it sounded like maybe we've got,
The copies up first, I know they're here already, so we can get them
Then-
started, so.
let's go ahead and get rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna take longer than 5 minutes anyway.
I was going to say, that's going to be the trick, for sure. Good morning.
Morning.
Young, how are you?
It should be plug and play. Once you plug in, we should see it pop up. If not, that's why we pay them the big bucks back here. Oh, see?
Oh, perfect.
You have a mouse here that should operate.
Okay, all right.
Dr. Young, welcome. We're doing fantastic, thank you. We're excited to have you here today. So just to let you know, what we're doing is we've invited all of our applicants to come in and make a brief presentation. We are going to try to be respectful of everybody's time today, so please know that we have a copy of your complete application. It's been provided to all the board members, but we always know that having a personal conversation is much more impactful than it is just reading something off of a paper. So we'd ask that you kind of summarize your application, and then if we have any questions, we'll let you know.
All right. Okay. First, I'd like to start with a little gratitude. Thank you for the opportunity to come and stand before you this morning. And let's see, I guess I need, which one? The mouse or this to?
You can use either one, so.
Okay, I'll use, yes. So you are familiar with what Agape does from the application. Our focus is education, nutrition, and wellness. Although we serve Jasper and Beaufort County, our priority has been Hardeeville. Many of our students that attend our services, that receive foods from our nutrition program, that apply for assistance through the wellness, there's a large percentage that is Hardeeville. For the education component that we are applying for assistance for, 100% of those students are Hardeeville students, 100%. That's key to us because we want to be able to allow opportunity for those students to thrive right in their community where they live. And funding and partnership that is connected with that, We like to think the idea that those funding comes from, again, partnerships right here within our community. And that's why we apply to the city of Hardeeville. Our programs, of course, the education, nutrition, and the wellness program. You see a snippet in the application, but just to minimize, just to highlight a little bit of highlights, 100% promotion rate from our education program and a 0% retention rate. What does that say for us? We applied for the grant because we want an opportunity to expand our educational programs and services. We're seeing 100% promotion rate. We want to be able to serve more children. And what will that say for Hardeeville students? For the students that have been failing, have not applied for Agape programs and services for whatever reason, this will allow an opportunity for us to reach out to them. Our partner in schools have been Hardeeville Elementary, Hardeeville Middle School, and Royal Live Oak. Just recently, Hartwood, but that student moved away. But so right now we're still serving those key areas right here in Hardeeville, the pre-K through 12th grade, and occasionally we will receive a middle school that'll come that's age 13 or so forth. Okay. I highlighted the nutrition there because in addition to providing the educational services, we also provide them, we combat food insecurities through our nutrition program. So they're able to not only get a hot meal, but they're able to take meals home, not only just for themselves, but for their siblings. They may be latchkey kids when they leave Agape and then families are working. They have an opportunity to have meals that's going to assist them to minimize that food insecurities. Um, the main focus of our education program is to minimize any learning gaps. What does that mean? When kids are not in school, for instance, for the summer camp, the youth day representing when kids are out of school on break. Summer break, parent teacher conferences, that's the youth day camp. They're able to come to Agape during that window of time that you see there so that education can still continue, allowing an opportunity for their academic success. One of the things that we applied for, and I mentioned three program areas you see on an application, the education, nutrition, and wellness that we offer through Agape. Our purpose here today is for our education program. Again, to expand the services and to allow a higher success rate of what we're seeing for our students who attend Hardeeville schools. And we all have probably seen what the report standards look like or have looked like. I will tell you, if you have not, it has been unsatisfactory. And so we like to play our role in ensuring that children have an opportunity for academic success. Our scope, what are we going to do? Not only are we going to increase the program opportunities for the children. We have 3 part-time staff. We also have 8 volunteers that assist us with all of that. We provide mentorship, the youth day camp in summer and so forth. We provide educational field trips. The purpose of that is all to engage the students in traditional but also non-traditional ways of learning. Also, our transportation. We pick children up from these schools and bring them to Agape. Agape just purchased another bus. At some point, we'll need another one. Again, this is an opportunity to expand our educational services. Supplies, that gives a breakdown of what we'll do with the budget. Overall, we're going to expand our services, and this gives a breakdown of how we're going to do that. How will it benefit Hardeeville? Later on, we'd like to see that there's going to be a better civilian city of Hardeeville citizen as a result of coming through Agape's program. And it starts when they're young, starting at this age, pre-K through fifth grade, and hopefully middle school, some that do attend. But not only that, we have middle schoolers that come through as volunteers. Again, this prepares them for some workforce training. They come and they volunteer as a camp counselor. They volunteer with tutorial, assisting the younger children. This helps with some employable skills later on in life. Not only that, it allows an opportunity for great community support. It strengthens the partnership that we have with the city of Hardeeville and other schools that we partner with. And it allows, at the end of the day, our goal is to minimize the learning gap and to minimize any insecurities as it relates to education. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Young.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Nope. Dr. Young, can tell you one of the things, and this is going to be not a this year thing, but a next year thing. So you've done an excellent job of talking about what your program does and how the money would be used. I think one of the things that we'll look forward in a future session would be how effective was the use of those dollars. And to me, that always comes down to some metrics about, you mentioned several times now the goal is to expand the program. So that's what we'd love to see next year is, okay, if we started today, where are we at a year from now and how effective were those dollars? Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a
Thank
great
you
day.
all for being here.
Thank you. That's a great point. I didn't see.
Thank you. You have a great day.
I feel like that was a fair question. Why this year, but
Yep. Absolutely. No, and this is the first one, so we're kind of getting our feet underneath us, but as we evolve a little bit, that's, I think, a very,
as I look back at that, I have the applications from last.
and are you Miss Coons?
I am Miss
Wonderful.
Coons. I'm
Awesome.
Julie Coons with Beaufort Jasper YMCA. I'm the Director of Development. I don't want to take a lot of time with the PowerPoint, but I did want to give you guys at least a visual representation. We are a 35,000 square foot facility and we are almost there. 75% is a lot to be done. One of the biggest features that we have that we know Hardeeville needs is the childcare. And we'll be able to provide quite a bit of childcare, and not just providing it, but providing it at a great rate. Typical childcare for full-time is about $1,200 a month. Our childcare is about $800 full-time, but we subsidize. We have people that have as low as $400 a month for their childcare, which is a fantastic rate for quite a number of individuals. What we're asking money for is to do our playgrounds. We are a licensed facility, okay? And DSS requires that we have a dedicated play space. And it's just pretty common to have that as an outside play space, to have a playground. The estimate for the project is about 100,000. We're asking for 25. We do have other contributors. We just received funding from the Community Foundation of the Low Country for our startup costs as well, so that we can kind of put that together. I wanted to show you guys some pictures. They're 400 square feet, and we will have 2 of them, correct? And so really what you're looking at is they're very specific on what they want. Obviously, it has to be enclosed. It has to be fenced in. They're very specific on the type of surface that you have for, the ground. Obviously, injury support and things like that. But in addition to that, we have added some, I don't know if you can see them very well, some sensory features. We have been getting a lot of calls about special needs childcare, and there's actually not enough of it here. In fact, there's very, very little at all. And so we are looking into that as far as creating an accessible space for these kids. And that's, like I said, what we're asking for the funding for. It's a 400 square foot playground, both of them are. And I just want to go down and give you a little bit of a highlight of our childcare. We are licensed pre-K. We turn out kindergarten readiness at 100%, which is yay for us. Our full-time care starts with kids age 2 and older. All of our kids get water safety training, which, let's face it, around here is a need. We also provide after-school care, summer camp, and like I said, we're going to have some adaptive and sensory features in our playground based on the need. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? All right. Julie, thank you for the information. We always appreciate being able to have a direct conversation because you can only get so much off of a written application. I know you don't have metrics on this particular facility yet because it has not existed, but one of the things I think we're going to look for in the future, should you come back for additional applications, is really to be able to understand what is that return on investment. And so if we are able to provide funding, what are we able to do in terms of growing the public's access to that? So again, not for this year, but potentially for future years. I think that's something that we're going to be interested in looking at, is how effective are those grant dollars if they're awarded.
Wonderful.
Josh,
Just
I do have a question.
Please,
too,
yeah, go
so,
ahead.
I will give you time to answer Josh's also, but what about time frame?
time frame. Well, we are anticipating opening in March of 2026. Our childcare, though, will be contingent on that licensure from DSS, and we don't, that can take a couple of months to get set up.
It'll be summer.
Probably,
Summer camp
yeah.
start, and then we'll start officially with the next school year in August of 2026 will be official. We'll definitely be licensed by then. We'll most likely be licensed by the summer.
Yeah.
But it's, to go back to your question, we have outputs for everything. Everything we do, we have goals, and we want to see what results we have.
Perfect.
So, and when we do other grants like United Way and stuff, we have to give them what our results are. So we're used to providing
Yep.
that sort of information for whatever we do. And we can come back at any time and present how many kids end up in the childcare, how many are on scholarship, what are they paying. We can answer all those questions for you very quickly.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions from members of the board? Awesome.
Just say real quick,
Yeah,
if
please.
anyone wants to stop by and see the site, I'm out there almost every day. I can give tours. We were doing tours yesterday, all day. So if anybody would like to do that, please email us and we'll set up some time to get you out there. But we'll have some grand opening stuff that, of course, y'all all be invited to as well. Come, probably mid to end March, we'll be doing those.
Excellent.
So are you looking for March as an opening date?
Yes.
Okay.
So we anticipate right now, barring any crazy thing weather-wise.
Right.
We anticipate probably the third week of March as being open,
Okay.
but it may fluctuate a little bit.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for coming in. If we have any follow-up questions, we'll let you know, and then as soon as we've made a decision, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your
For
day.
being here.
I just pull it out, or? Okay.
Chat with us. This is a kind of a little bit of a new process for us, but I was talking with Neil, and we think it's important that, you can only get so much information from a paper application. Having this conversation just helps to fill in all those gaps.
Yeah, well, thank you all. I appreciate it. My name is Courtney Hampson. I am the CEO of Bluffton Self-Help. And thank you for letting me talk to you about how we intend to strengthen the families even further in Hardeeville. So in 2021, after 34 years of serving Bluffton exclusively, Self-Help was invited into Hardeeville. We began modestly in a teeny space inside the library, and we started offering small English as a second language classes. In 2022, we moved into the brand new rec center, which has allowed us to offer classes 4 days a week. The more membership has grown at the rec center, we are seeing the compaction, and we're trying to teach English next to Zumba classes. So we have had our mind on where do we go next so that we're no longer kind of borrowing space. We're in our own space. So since 2021, more than 270 adult learners have participated in our ESL programs here in Hardeeville. Every one of them who has become bilingual increased their earning potential. We know when somebody becomes fully bilingual, they can earn more than $8,000 additional a year. They've contributed to the workforce, and they've contributed to this community. But we know that the needs continue to grow. So in Jasper County, nearly 60% of our households are not earning a livable wage, which means they are living paycheck to paycheck. They are struggling, and many are just one flat tire away from a financial crisis. More than half of the renters and a third of the homeowners are cost burdened, meaning they're spending the majority of their income on their housing. But most startling to us is that nearly 25% of our neighbors struggle with low literacy. This means their reading, writing, comprehension is below a third or fourth grade level. So imagine that. Every room, every business we walk into, 1 in 4 people cannot read the label on their medication, would struggle understanding their pay stub or their utility bill, and they certainly are overwhelmed by a lease. So for the past few years, we have worked really intentionally to understand how we can step up more in Hardeeville to meet these needs in a deeper, much more comprehensive way. So we are expanding our services into Hardeeville, officially our own space designed to really meet, it's not about space for us, it's about how do we better meet the needs of this community. So we are making a nearly $1 million investment and to upfit a new building off of Speedway Boulevard. It's right off of Exit 5 next to the U.S. Foods Distribution Center and under the Mike Costello billboard, which is how I remember when to turn left when I am driving there. Of course, there are many of those, but this is my, so anyway, this space is now going to let us reach hundreds of more households a year. We are going to be able to continue to offer our English as a second language classes, and frankly, our ESL program is exceptional. Becoming fully bilingual for a non-English speaker can take years, 4 to 6 years. The end of our last academic year in May, 77% of our ESL students made a measurable gain, which means they moved up a level. They also maintained a nearly 80% attendance rate. So think about this. They're working all day. They may be working 2 jobs. They have a family and kiddos at home, and they are still showing up and putting in the work. In addition to ESL, we will bring all of our education programs that we offer in our Bluffton location. So GED classes. So far this year, our GED students have passed 79 subject tests and 15 have graduated with their GED. 95% of our GED students pass their subject test on the first try. We will bring our financial literacy and our budgeting program. We pair our neighbors with a volunteer financial planner who helps them with their own personal budget, money plan, and goals. So now they also have a mentor and a support system. We will bring our citizenship classes as well, and then digital literacy, which we are finding more and more important for the population, and even, sadly, the aging population who has since retired. Maybe they are newly widowed. They don't know how to pay the bills because they've never done it before. We will also provide a full-time on-site client advocate to provide that one-on-one, deep dive, peel back the layers, social work conversations with folks. We also dedicated space specific to partner space. So created flex space so that our partner organizations, many of whom are sitting in the hallway, can also come in and pop up. Every Tuesday morning, Low Country Legal Volunteers is on site at Bluffton Self-Help so that we can eliminate that barrier. When we are all under one roof, the transportation barrier goes away. And we will be able to deploy our mobile market to bring free, fresh groceries, eggs, milk, meat into Hardeeville and serve the neighbors that we are serving through our programs. Our model is built on the idea of layering services for families, because we know when we can help families in more than one way, their chance for success and self-sufficiency is so much greater. When somebody walks through our door, they identify what is their immediate crisis issue. But there are usually 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 other things going on, and we want to be able to address as many as possible. Beyond the construction investment, we will invest more than $300,000 a year on the program and the staffing and ongoing services, and that is our ask to you and why your partnership is so meaningful. So our request for $25,000 is to do this initial upfit, so it'll directly support the classroom build-out, the technology infrastructure, the private meeting spaces we will create for our case managers and our partner organizations, but more importantly, a welcoming, accessible environment that reduces barriers and provides dignity. When we are trying to serve our neighbors, we want to make sure we are respecting the situation they are currently in, providing them choice in what services they take advantage of, and giving them the dignity. We have one chance when they walk in our front door to make an impression where they feel warm and welcomed, and that is what we aim to deliver. So Hardeeville opened your doors to us 4 years ago. You welcomed us, you partnered with us, you've invested in us, and we've already together helped hundreds of neighbors. So now we can double down, we can deepen that impact, and we can create a more permanent and trusted resource. Sidebar, we've gone through a rebranding exercise. So beginning in January, we will have a new logo, self-help with our locations. So really to kind of broaden, remove the Bluffton when we're in Hilton Head and when we're in Hardeeville. I don't know how much time I left, but I will just say that I know there are 1,700 nonprofits in the two-county area, and nobody can help all of them. And we always say we cannot do this work alone, but we also can't do it with everyone. And sitting outside chambers with the other folks in those chairs, these are our partners. So the investment you all are already making, it's the right people in the right room at the right time, and we just can't wait to continue the work.
Awesome. All right.
So we have selected, the architecture work is done. We have selected our builder. Our goal is second week of January, we are building, and by our summer semester, we are in there and we are operating by Memorial Day.
Wonderful. All
Thank you.
right. Are there any questions from members of the board?
No, I'm, being at the rec center, you know, we've really had a great partnership, so we fully see the impact, so thank you for what you do.
Well, and thank you again for welcoming us, and it has been a really great partnership.
Any other questions? Courtney, I have just one, and it really is about the financing of this project, because I know the grant that you're asking for is just a small component of it, and I kind of want to understand where you're at in terms of getting close to that goal, just to make sure that if we do provide funding, it's not going to sit in a bank account for the next 3 years while you're still trying to close that gap. So to hear you say that you're breaking ground, you know, that's very reassuring, but if you could just talk about that very
Full speed ahead.
briefly.
We have, for the last 4 years, very aggressively and carefully been fundraising to build our operating reserves. We always try to maintain 4 to 6 months of operating reserves, which is just under $1.5 million for us. And in addition, we have been saving for the what's next. So this has been on the horizon for 4 years since I started. So we will not need to take out any loans. We will be taking this from our reserves, but then certainly our plan is to refill those reserves so that we have that for the continued operating. Because as I mentioned, this will increase our operating budget by about $350,000 next year.
Okay,
Good question.
awesome. All right, anything else? Courtney, thank you so
No,
much.
thank you. I
Appreciate you coming.
it.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, ma'am. It's Friday.
That's good. That's good too, believe me. It's really good.
Yes.
Okay.
Howdy, stranger.
Just needed you.
There we go.
Well, Michelle, while it's loading, just to kind of give you an understanding of what we are asking for today, we think it's important just to have a quick opportunity to connect because there's only so much information that we can get from a
Right.
paper application. And so this just helps
Exactly.
us to make sure that we are fully informed of what your request is, and then there's an opportunity to answer any questions that the board members might have.
Got it.
So I was trying to buy you a little bit of time there, hoping that by the time we were done, it would be.
It's just spinning. I wonder if I should go back out, come back in. Yeah.
Go ahead and unplug the USB too and plug it back in.
Pull that out. I'm gonna pull up. Do you have it in PowerPoint?
Yes.
I'm a problem with.
How about if he can get that, you can just start an intro of who we are.
Okay.
Maybe for time's sake, since it's.
Let's try it again.
Okay.
Yeah, if y'all want to talk, I can work on this for you.
Okay, so thank you for letting us be here today. I am with you today. I am also not just staff, I'm a grandmother of a club kid at the Bluffton Club. So the Bluffton Club is very near and dear to my heart. I know it a little bit better. But we are the Boys and Girls Club. We have been very fortunate to have a long-standing tradition of serving families and children in our communities. We have traditionally served and had programs based around academic success, healthy lifestyles, and good character citizenship. So I'm going to see if I can get this. There we go. Okay, we have more than 1,400 children in our clubs right now, currently, in ages 6 to 18. Since 1998, we've had over 20,000 kids that we have helped through their teens, and we're growing now. We have an aggressive growth plan over the next several years that will also take us into Colleton, and we are in Colleton now, we just launched, and also into Hampton County. So we're looking to serve more children every single day. And we support those who need us most. So a lot of our kids, the majority of them fall below that poverty line, which is critical for us to be there for these children and to be able to serve them in ways that will help them grow and become vibrant and productive citizens and leaders in our community. So our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. Our strategic plan was created, and it carries us through the next 3 years. We are looking to, as I said, expand. And so our board of directors of the Low Country, as well as community partners, staff, volunteers, and parents have all had input in this. And it was launched to the public in November of this year. So we have focused on 4 pillars. We are deepening our impact. And the big thing to note there is that we will be increasing our service hours, our impact hours. So we're going to do that by expanding our programs and also expanding our sites. We're going to have a goal of 1 million impact hours per year to do that. So we're going to have a huge impact on the youth in these communities that we serve. We're going to strengthen our foundation, amplify our voice, and live our values. And you'll notice that there's growth, integrity, teamwork, safety, diversity, and fun on the slide. Those are the values. We made sure that we included fun in there because we believe that it's not just a place to come and have academic support. They've been in school all day, so they get to come and have that help, but it needs to be fun while they do it. Okay? So we are in Hardeeville Elementary School. We have, in the last year, had 150 youth. We've had 78,000 hours of programming in that year. We have after-school and summer programs. We have trained staff and volunteers. We employ locally, so we're helping the workforce here. We partner with the school district and with the city of Hardeeville, and we support working families every day by ensuring that they have a safe place for their children to be, that they don't have to worry about doing homework when their kids get home because they get that extra help they need. They get tutoring. We have close partnerships with the schools, so we know exactly what those children need on an individual basis. In Jasper County, all of you know it's one of the poorest counties in South Carolina. We are in Jasper, we are in Beaufort, we are in Colleton, we're going to be in Hampton. So we have a wide footprint, but I'm going to talk mostly about Hardeeville today, Hardeeville Elementary, because that's where our club is and that's where we're requesting funding for. The poverty index, according to the new state report card that just came out, is 53.9%. It's got a below average rating and has an unsatisfactory score. So in short, Hardeeville Elementary really needs us and this program. The flip side of that is Jasper County is growing. There is a boom going on here. And with that, there can be some really good ground that we get to create here and programs so that we can actually help you meet the need for services, housing, education, and jobs in the future by training and by exposing kids to the things that they need to learn now to become those productive workforce development kids. The purpose of our grant funding is for a financial literacy program. It's going to be designed for elementary and middle school students at the Hardeeville Club, and it's going to teach them life skills. So they're going to have real world experience in this. They're going to be able to do hands-on activities. It's going to be fun. And it's going to teach them the long-term impact of some of the decisions that come into the financial decisions that they will make throughout their life. We have several program objectives. There's 4, actually. And I'll go over those really quickly. The first one is to equip our youth with practical knowledge in saving, budgeting, and responsible spending. And we're going to do that through building their decision-making skills. And as we do that, they're going to be exposed to, exercises to compare costs. They're going to evaluate wants and needs, and they're going to understand the consequences of those wants and needs if they decide, hey, I want this, but I need to pay this. So they're going to understand the long-term effects of that. One of the long-term benefits of this objective is that these are the same critical thinking skills that employers look for when they enter the workforce. So we're teaching that now. The second objective is to introduce basic entrepreneurship and career readiness concepts tied to the local economy. So the first concept is support entrepreneurship and innovation. This is understanding money and thinking about profit and expenses, analyzing risks. This fosters that kind of entrepreneurial thinking, and it's useful when they start a business, if they decide to start one, or if they decide they want to, help streamline operations in a business that they work for. It encourages long-term planning and career growth. This is another concept that we're going to concentrate on. This is going to teach them how education affects income. It's going to affect the quality of their life. It's going to affect the kind of lifestyle they have. It's going to incorporate, whether they go for if they're going to be a tech college or if they want a more long-term degree. It's going to help them set long-term goals and think about long-term goals like buying a house, cars, things like that take a lot of money and that take strategy to be able to accomplish. This translates to a clearer career path and a sustained workforce participation in the long term. The third concept is going to be to encourage responsible work habits. These financial lessons involve setting goals, tracking progress, making plans to achieve something, and this translates into a healthy work ethic, which is going to be absolutely impossible to have a healthy community if they don't have a healthy work ethic and learn that discipline. Okay, I'm going to move faster. The fourth concept is to strengthen the future workforce and economy. When we do this, it's going to reduce everything. This is one of the people that we're going to actually bring in. He's going to be one of our speakers, our guest speakers. He's created this book. The kids are all going to get this book, and they're going to learn this. It's very interesting. I can leave it here for you to look at today, and Neil can bring it home. But it goes over all kinds of income, all kinds of debt, and it's being taught by someone who looks like them. and who's from their background. The fourth is to deliver consistent, measurable programming that aligns with school day learning standards and supports the city's goal of enhancing educational quality. Through this, we build real-world relevance across subjects like math, reading, social studies. We help close opportunity gaps because every child in here gets to have this. They access this kind of knowledge and learn these kind of skills. It prepares students for future academic success and promotes college and career planning activities. So our program budget is $10,000. We have $2,000 for the cost of materials. We have $3,000 for salaries, $1,500 for cost of supplies, $1,500 for professional fees, $500 for travel fees, and $1,500 for other costs. It's going to take us probably until spring of 2026 before we launch. But when we do launch, we will have about 150 youth in there, and they will meet twice a week. And then by year 2, we hope to expand to additional Jasper Club sites. We're going to have performance measures that are going to be age appropriate pre and post assessments, attendance and engagement tracking, which we already do. We have an 80% participants demonstrating improved understanding of basic money management and 90% reporting increased confidence in financial decision-making. Those are our outcome metrics there. We're going to seek feedback from different areas, our youth, our parents, our staff, to see if we need to pivot, focus, turn another direction. And then we'll also provide a comprehensive report to the city of Hardeeville. And then once the program is over, we will be able to count on corporate and foundation grants. We have the Community Foundation of the Low Country and banks. Yesterday, I talked to one that is interested in helping to fund this program. Individual and corporate giving, public and private partnerships, staff training and delivery. We'll cover that with our overhead and our operating budget. And we'll have volunteers that can bring in-kind support. So in short, teaching financial literacy has long-term and short-term goals. In the short term, kids come out of there and they're more confident. They have skills that they can transfer immediately to other courses because they're being taught to think in depth. So, math concepts become easier. Social studies, when you talk about economics, becomes easier. But in the long term, it creates a stronger local economy. It reduces generational poverty, which is a big one, improves workforce readiness, improves mental health and family stability, increases civic engagement and social responsibility, provides greater equity and opportunity, and promotes long-term community wealth building. So, thank you for letting us be here today. I will take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Michelle. Any questions from the board? One quick one for you, and it's maybe more of a comment than it is a question. Very well done presentation, very clear in terms of what the goals and objectives are, and I love the fact that you've got an entire page about how you're going to measure the success of the program. The one thing that I'm thinking of, and I think it would connect with this, but I could be wrong, I believe there's also some financial literacy requirements that are required for graduation in South Carolina. Just because I've got a high school student now that I believe was taking some of that. So just making sure that there's some crossover there, that you're providing not only great information that they need to know to be in our society, but information that would help them be prepared for that aspect as well.
I'll make a quick comment on that. I was trying not to, but I was like, I'm going to make a quick comment on that. I believe, if I'm not wrong, the new requirement for high school graduation is it 1 semester?
Correct.
Yeah, 1 semester. So we have been working a lot with junior achievement in addition to some corporations, banks, getting feedback on that. And I think that is a phenomenal start for this state, but it is by no means what we need.
Yeah.
So with the Boys and Girls Club, we have decided to start so Hilton Head is our first, Hardeeville would be our second, to incorporate financial literacy into our full year every year, so that they are better prepared and walk out with much more than 1 semester.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, any other questions? Thank you both so much. Really appreciate your time today. If there are any questions after this, we'll reach out and let you know. Otherwise, we'll be in touch as soon as we've made our decisions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all for being here.
Morning, Bob. We're excited to have you here today.
Well, thank you
Yep.
very much.
The only thing that we're going to ask is an abundance of trying to be respectful of everybody's time. What we're just seeking is kind of a summary of your application, and that way, if there are any questions of the board, we can make sure to have an opportunity to get those in front of you while we're making our deliberations.
Yes, perfect. I got this timed to 5 minutes.
Perfect.
If I stay on script, which sometimes is difficult. But my name is Bob Elliott. I'm the founder of the South Carolina Nurse Retention Initiative. I founded it about 4 years ago now. And we're part of the Community Foundation of the Low Country. So they're our fiscal agent. They provide administrative support. They manage our money, and they provide oversight, which is important. I'm proud to be here with all these other wonderful organizations and service providers, and I appreciate the past support that's been provided by the city. The South Carolina Nurse Retention Initiative, and I'll just call it Nurse Retention to shorten it, is the only nonprofit in the area that is focused on building and retaining the workforce of nurses that we need in the area to care for the citizens of Hardeeville and the greater Hardeeville area. We attract and retain nurses for the area, believing that increasing the supply of nurses in the area will benefit all healthcare providers and all citizens. There's been a shortage of nurses since the COVID days, and it's continued to get worse. With the new facilities that are being built in Bluffton and surrounding area, this nurse shortage is taking on a new sense of urgency, if you will. The nurses that we bring onto the initiative can work in hospitals, home care, surgery centers, rehab centers, and they do. They work in all of the above, and they can change jobs. We don't restrict their movement. We want to support their advancement in the nursing profession. The only thing that we require is that they remain here in our area, employed in healthcare. That's the only requirement. Another unique aspect of the Nurse Retention Initiative is that we provide financial support after they graduate. So we're getting nurses from USCB and TCL, and we're supporting them as they enter the workforce. Now, how do they use the money? The funds are used for housing. They're used to pay off student debt and further education, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. We help nurses pursue further education and training to obtain the skills required to advance in the profession. And we provide the financial support only if they remain in our area. We operate across 3 counties, actually, but we have separate funds. So I have a separate fund for the city of Hardeeville and the surrounding area. I have a separate fund for Hilton Head Island, for example. So that ensures that you get a direct return on your investment. We've added 79 nurses, and I'm going to show you, flash through them quickly here in a second. But each of these nurses will care for upwards of 5,000 patients in a hospital setting per year. So the multiplier effect is enormous of adding just one nurse. We've added 79 nurses. I've raised over $1 million in 4 years. The $10,000 grant request will go towards a goal of raising $115,000 for this area, so we can add 12 to 14 nurses. The overall goal for 2026 is to raise $336,000 and add 35 to 40 nurses in this area. We collaborate with TCL USCB. They have a common desire to keep more nurses that graduate from their colleges here working locally. And we stay in touch with the nurses. I just obtained some recent information from a few nurses, and I wanted to share just a few of their comments. In 2021, how do I move this down?
You can use the page down, you can use your mouse, or you can use the,
I'm sorry, I don't want to waste your time here.
I can actually move
There you
it
go.
down.
You do that for me?
I can
Okay.
do it for you.
This is our inaugural year, 2021. We had 3 BSNs. They're all still working here in the area. They've changed jobs. But Lauren on the left, I'm only going to give you one example. The funds provided by this exceptional program were instrumental in supporting my transition from student nurse to practicing professional. And I think that's a great way to think about our program. The funds allowed me to reduce my student debt and begin coursework towards a master's degree in nursing education, all the while by remaining in the area. Crystal, the funds meant more than income. They felt like real support from the community. Because of the funds, I was able to stay in the Low Country, buy my first home, and provide stability for my daughter. If you scroll down, in 2022, we added 8 nurses. Here they are. You can scroll down, please. In 23, we added 21 nurses. And in 2024, 17. And in 2025, this is our biggest class, our most successful year yet, the impact that we've been able to have, 29 nurses that we've added. And Jamie Aloto there, second row towards the right, says that I've been a nurse for 20 years, with the last 8 dedicated to serving patients in the Low Country. In April, she graduated with her BSN from USCB. I chose nursing because of my deep desire to serve, advocate, and care for others. These funds will support my goal of continuing my education to pursue my Master's of Science in Nursing and become a family nurse practitioner. So I will also say that in this group here, there were 3 nurses we added to Coastal Carolina Hospital, so a little closer to home here. And that brings the total number to 8 over the last 3-4 years at Coastal. On Hilton Head Island, the Novant Health, we've added about 20 nurses in the last 4 years. So with that, I'll close and just say, building and retaining the nurse workforce here in the area to care for the citizens of Hardeeville and the greater Hardeeville area is what we do. And I appreciate you giving us an opportunity to continue our mission and to grow the number of nurses in this area to support the growing and somewhat aging population. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Are there any members or questions from members of the board?
I just have one question. Do you support the Bluffton? Is this part of the Bluffton Hilton Head Hospital? Like, because Bluffton's getting, what, is it 2 new hospitals or 3?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we have funds set up for Hilton Head Island, Greater Bluffton, including Bluffton, Okeechobee, Hardeeville, and then north of the Broad, which would pick up like Buford Memorial and some other hospitals up there. But they're working, I noticed Agape, they're working at Agape, Lotus Health. They're working in a variety of different settings, but absolutely, I've already heard of some nurses beginning to hope to plan a transition to the Bluffton area.
I just
when
know there's
those
a
hospitals
crisis in the healthcare employee, so, and we're getting like 3 new hospitals, so just, this is really important.
Well, that's driving the growth, is the population growth, and the healthcare providers are stepping up and adding new capacity all through the area. And the staffing issue for nurses is, as I mentioned, taking on a new sense of urgency.
Hey, Bob, with the future growth and stuff, are there any point in time where the geographic boundary kind of gets removed and you're actually working with you talk about Novant. We know Novant's in all 3 areas.
Yes.
Would that be something that you, down the road, is that you got X amount of pot of money going toward Novant services, then you got like Buford Memorial Services and whoever else is coming to the area? Because, I mean, the same company owns all 3. I just didn't know if the money gets limited based on Hilton Head funds or Bluffton funds or Hardeeville funds, so.
Yeah, it's all coming together. Let me put it that way. I've created the individual funds to support the wishes of the donors. So I get a lot of money from people that say, no, use it on Hilton Head Island nurse retention, because that's where I live, or in Bluffton, or north of the Broad. We don't have a fund set up for a given healthcare provider. We're recruiting for the area. And as I mentioned, we allow them to move between healthcare providers. We're trying to increase the supply of nurses in the area and support their continued advancement and growth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, Bob, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Greatly appreciate the information. If we do have any other questions, we'll let you know. And then as soon as we finished our deliberations, we'll let you know kind of the results.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Nice. Okay.
Fancy.
Is it? Let's see if I can do it. Fancy. Hi.
Good morning, Ann.
Hey, good
How are you?
morning. Doing good. Doing
Good. Well, welcome. We appreciate you finding some time to be here. What we're asking for is really just a kind of a brief summary of your application, so that way we have an opportunity to ask any questions that we might have or fill in any gaps that there might be.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm with Low Country Legal Volunteers. I'm super happy to be here, very honored to get to present to y'all. And feel free to ask any questions that you have. Just wanted to talk really briefly. Who is Low Country Legal Volunteers? We're always trying to get the word out about us, about our services. Free legal services. That's what we do. That's a picture of our team, which includes volunteers, community ambassadors, attorneys, bilingual paralegals, and other staff on our team. So we're a diverse group of folks serving a diverse group of folks, and of course, including City of Hardeeville residents. So we're honored to get to do that work. What we do is absolutely free. We don't charge anybody that qualifies based on our income level, which is 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. So folks that are really honestly in need, some of them work 1 job, some of them work 2 jobs, and they still manage to qualify. We do a ton of family law. Our focus is on stability for families, but also for individuals. And we take on family law cases involving minor children. That's one of our major focus areas that we've done over the past 25 years. Community clinics is something that we've always done. When I was getting ready for this presentation and putting my presentation on a flash drive, which I'm not very technical savvy, but when I was doing that, the thing that was on there before was a know your rights during COVID. So, it's all flash drive, but thank God it works. But, we're always trying to get people to know their rights because people won't be empowered until they have access to that information so they can know better, do better, have economic mobility, and make better choices for themselves and their families. So what are we here for? We would love to be able to expand expungement services together with our partner, the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, so people can get various licensures that they would be prohibited from getting, various education opportunities that they would be prohibited from moving forward in their life and bettering themselves for something they did when they were 17 that happened to be stupid, but is still sitting there on their record. So we'd like to do that. So a series of outreach and expungement clinics together with our partners at our partners' locations and sites. Because we currently don't have an office in Hardeeville, we're working out of the Hardeeville Library. We also partner with Bluffton Self-Help, and we'll partner with Agape Family Life Center and others. Our main office is in Okatee, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from here, inside the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, part of their Victim Services Center. So that's where we would host most of our clinics. We'd also utilize the Awesome Recreation Center and other partner sites. What's the goal? We want to take away barriers to access, barriers to economic mobility, barriers to educational services. That's the main goal of this grant, and that's what y'all would be supporting. But I want to tell you a little story that really exemplifies what we do and how this applies. We represented a young lady named Amber who lives outside of Hardeeville in the Ridgeland area. Young mother came to us. She had a family court hearing coming up very, very quick. The father of her child had hired a private practice attorney out of Beaufort, and he was pursuing sole custody and child support from this mother that had raised her child since birth, had moved back down here from New Jersey after he had booted them out of their house up there and moved back in with her family in Ridgeland. Part of the complaint he filed was that her residence was not adequate. She was not living in suitable residence. Well, what he didn't say, and what we brought up to the court's attention is, y'all made that baby in that house. Y'all went to Thanksgivings and Christmases and you were there. And oh, by the way, you need to pay this mom child support because you haven't been doing that. And she needs that to move forward in her life. It was an extended case, but what I can tell you is by the time we got it resolved, which we did get it resolved with mom and dad and that private practice attorney, she got child support. We were able to get her into access to a private school over in Beaufort where Amber works. We got Josie into that preschool. And then we also got her a little bit of spousal support. It was a divorce case. And she was a manager of a fast food restaurant over in Beaufort. And she, at the end of the mediation, she was so excited just to have that resolution, have a good, dad got visitation too, of course, of little Josie. But she was so excited just to get that resolved. The first thing she said, she turned to me and our paralegal that was sitting there with her. She said, I'm going to get my GED next. That's the power of empowerment. So we don't see our jobs as just being attorneys. It's part counselor, it's part social worker, and that's why we rely on our collaborations with others. So we can get people from point A to point B to point C, and they can move forward with their lives. So who are we going to help? We're going to help job seekers that are blocked by not having their records cleaned. We're going to help people that need child support. They may be living in an abusive situation. We're going to help with that as well. So they are workforce ready from a socioeconomic standpoint. We're going to help residents facing legal or financial barriers, which usually it's going to be both. And then, of course, that's going to lift the whole community. So what are we going to do with this funding? Should y'all be so generous to grant us some funding? We're going to use it for our staffing. We're going to staff up more and focus in the city of Hardeeville and the surrounding areas. We're going to partner. We already have medical legal partnerships established here in Jasper County We'll beef up our staffing with that and also initial screenings as well. We're going to do several clinics that provide knowledge and power and information to local families and individuals, including expungement, but as well as child support. Access to child support can make all the difference. I represented a mom in court the other day. She got $1,000 a month from dad. Dad was paying nothing. Mom was wanting to enroll her daughter in a private school so she could have a better education and move forward. And we were able to get that. And that's a game changer. That makes all the difference. And then, of course, we're going to track that data and report back into y'all what we've been able to do. We're 25 years in service, but I feel like there's so much more to be done, particularly the city of Hardeeville and Jasper County. So we're super excited to do that with your help.
Awesome. And thank you so much. Are there any questions from members of the board?
Just curious what percentage or how many clients that you have from the Hardeeville area right now?
So currently, we serve around 20% for Jasper County. I would say about 15 of that comes from the city of Hardeeville area. And we're such a mobile society. People will live here, work there, just like Amber's story. So it really benefits multi-counties, but I would say about 15% currently. And of course, that would increase.
Awesome. Any other questions? And thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
If we do have any other questions after this, we'll certainly send them to you and let you know. And then otherwise, once we're done with our deliberations, we'll let you know how it comes out.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And
So
have a good
much.
holiday.
You too. Have a great
Thank
rest
you.
of your day.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for making some time to join us this morning.
There's your presentation.
No. This is much more laid back. I can promise you that. No, we appreciate you finding just a couple minutes to come in and chat with us. It's always more impactful to be able to hear directly from someone than just reading something off of a page. And so we appreciate just a kind of a brief presentation to summarize what your request is, and then an opportunity for any of the board members to ask any questions that they might have.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
Perfect.
But I just wanted to say thank you all for allowing us, to give us the opportunity to be able to present to you. So at Osprey Village, our mission is has always been to empower people, to help them develop meaningful and independent skills. To that end, our job readiness program is the strongest way that we have to be able to develop those skills. Our goal is to help people develop the skills so that they can find jobs in meaningful employment and have long-term success. So what a partnership between the city of Hardeeville and Osprey would do, it would benefit the residents of Hardeeville as well as individuals and businesses to help strengthen the workforce. Let's see. Okay, so to fully understand what this partnership means is you have to take a look at like what the problems that people with IDD are facing right now. And one of the problems that they are is low expectations. A lot of employers, they see people collectively with disabilities collectively and not take into account them individually. And so a lot of the jobs that they have are very low skilled, they don't see people's potential necessarily. So that's been one of the areas that's been problematic. The other, sorry, I'm just trying to get used to this, limited access to training. So with limited access to training, traditional training programs or employers, they don't take into account specific neurodiversity needs, or they don't understand individuals what some of their challenges might be, or they don't understand, people have different communication styles, and that doesn't always come across to the employer. The other issue is high unemployment rates. People typically with IDD they are underemployed or unemployed, and the rate for individuals with IDD is the unemployment rate is 2 to 3 times higher than with other individuals. Let's see. Again, underemployment in sheltered workshops. A lot of companies don't take into account, they'll place people in very sheltered environments. They're not necessarily, individuals aren't necessarily exposed to the general population. So they'll give them menial tasks, again, not taking into account their potential. Let's see. Lack of inclusive workshops. So businesses haven't really been trained necessarily in how to work with people with developmental disabilities. I recall several years ago talking with an employer or talking with a support person, and they said they don't really understand our population. And I've seen that myself, where I've been, for example, I had someone who I was with them in an emergency room, and when it came time for them to discharge, they were asking me to sign the discharge papers. And I said, well, why wouldn't you, this is an adult, why wouldn't you have her sign her own discharge papers? Tell her what your conclusions were as a result of her visit here. And lastly, new and expanding businesses and labor shortages. So 2023 and 2024, the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce had conducted a survey of area businesses. And what businesses identified as one of their greatest challenges is the lack of workers. So this would help to address that need, especially with the growing businesses in the city of Hardeeville. So now that we know all of the problems, what do we do about it? Well, we have a solution, and that is your friends here from Osprey Village. So what Osprey will provide with the training is functional skill development. So participants would learn essential skills like workplace behaviors. They'd learn about safety and hygiene, teamwork, collaboration, communication and problem solving. Hands-on vocational training. So with our thrift store, it's unique because we have a built-in training ground. So individuals will train at the thrift store, and they will learn anything between from inventory control to running a register, working with customer service, coworkers, and problem solving. And community employment pathways. So what Osprey will do is we will work closely with local area businesses to create a pathway where we identify what individuals' strengths are and match them to what the employers have for identified job vacancies and who would be a good fit. And we would work closely with them. Employer feedback, participant and family satisfaction. So we would do structured surveys with employers to gain feedback. Did they feel like their job candidate was ready? And if not, what can we do to address, well, where were the deficiencies? What can we do to help strengthen those? And conversely, we would also conduct participant and family surveys too. So we would ask the individual, do you feel confident in this area? What have you learned? Do you feel like you could take on more? And that's something too that we would provide at at the thrift store, as individuals hone their skills, we would recognize them and give them additional responsibilities as it warrants. The other thing that we have access to is, are you familiar with Kibu at all? All
I
right.
don't believe so.
So Kibu is like a video training program, and they have short videos, and they address everything from, say, hygiene to conflict resolution, a myriad of topics. And so what we endeavor to do is, at Osprey, we would have them watch one of these videos that would preview what we want to go over. Then they would do their shift, and then after their shift, we would discuss with them, what were your experiences? Were they positive? Did you have any difficulty? If so, what difficulties did you run into? And so we would reinforce that message with them. And then program quality monitoring. We would continually check in with both our participants as well as the employers, and we would conduct surveys and be able to measure outcomes. And based on, wherever they may get placed, there may be things that arise that we didn't anticipate. And then moving forward, we would address those needs so that there's a good fit, because the ultimate goal is to have people in jobs with long-term success. That is a picture of our thrift store. And that is it.
Perfect.
I feel like I was talking 100
No,
miles
it's
an hour.
great.
so,
It was great.
I'm sorry. But did you have any questions?
Any questions from members of the board? I've got one question for you, and it's really about the timing. So this is a portion of the total program funding that you're seeking. I think you indicated you thought about $75,000 is what it was going to take to launch this. So tell me kind of where you're at in terms of raising the additional funds. Primarily kind of what I'm seeking for is, how long might this fund sit in an account while you're waiting to generate the rest of the revenue to then launch and execute the program?
That is a great question. I'm going to defer to one of my colleagues.
Sure.
And answer that more specifically.
So currently, we've already got some funding.
Okay.
Roughly about $20,000 that we've got funding for it. So it's ongoing. So we're ready to start our first cycle of job readiness in January. So
Okay.
Patty and her team, ChatGPT, are going to start,
Give me away.
start the program in January.
Okay.
So we'll continue, David and I will continue seeking funding, but we're also hoping, once we have the program initialized and then get the folks dispersed out into with employers, then we'll reach out to employers to help with the funding as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
Perfect.
think too, some of the issues that may arise may be something that we didn't anticipate, and that's where the collaboration with businesses is going to be crucial, because there may be something that comes up that we just didn't anticipate. So then we would work with a participant to say, okay, how can we resolve this? And then moving forward, we'll now have a better understanding of, gee, that's something that we hadn't thought about. So I think it's going to be very exciting, and with all the businesses propping up, I mean, to me, it's a natural fit. And
Very
I
much
know
so.
the individuals that that I've had the opportunity to work with, if you raise the bar, they can achieve. And I think that this would give them an opportunity to be seen, because I think that's has been an issue too, is people haven't been exposed enough. But if they see them and see how they have the ability to thrive. And I think we just have to provide the tools to help them succeed. And for businesses, it's a great look. Like, I know in Massachusetts, they had a program whereby Fortune 500 companies would hire people, say, on the spectrum, for example. And what they discovered was, gee, they make terrific employees. They're very loyal.
Yeah.
They're hardworking. They don't gossip at the water cooler. And so, and my niece, I mean, I've seen it in my own life. I've seen my niece thrive at Dell Technologies. And one of the things in my niece's case, when she was first interviewing for a job, sometimes people on the spectrum, one of their things can be that they're very honest. And so my niece went on her first job and they asked her a question, well, why do you want this job? And my niece said, because my mother's making me get a job. So my sister's advice to her was, next time, don't be so honest.
For the sake of the board, can you introduce the team members? So everybody,
Sure. This is Tom Swangziger, the executive director, and Amy Siders, family director. Thank you. I knew that was a mouthful.
I'm one of the founders of Osprey Village, and my focus right now is fundraising and grant writing.
And he's also the Osprey Village historian.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you finding some time to come chat with us.
Thank you.
If we have any questions, we will reach out and let you know. And then once we've done our deliberations, we'll let you kind of know the outcomes. I can tell you that when we're here at this point in time next year, really looking forward to seeing how you've gotten the program up off the ground and how many folks you've been able to get into that program.
Right. Thank
Awesome.
you very much
Thank
for your
you.
time. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
And they then return first semester senior year. While they're at ACE, they take 3 blocks of their program. So for instance, welding with Mr. Van Norman and 1 block of English 11. They return the following semester, first semester senior year, and take the last 3 blocks of welding to complete the program in English 12. And what we try to do is when they're working in their English class, they work on things in welding. So for instance, if they're doing a research program and they're one of Mr. Van Norman's students, they would be doing their research on a problem or long-term effects of health welding on your vision might be something that they would research. And when they present on welding. And so we really try to blend the two together. We've had really a lot of success the past 4 or 5 years in terms of student achievement, placement. We've been recognized at the state, as you can see, as Palmetto's Finest. Which is the most prestigious award a school can win in the state. We became the first career center to ever win that. That was in 24-25 school year. And then 2 weeks ago, we became the first career center in the state to become certified through Cognia, which is our accreditation company, so to speak, or oversight company, as a STEM school, which is different than the regular accreditation. It shows that we're embedding STEM throughout our curriculum and all our things. So we have a lot of good things going on, and we're here today to ask you to help support our next big thing. Why it matters, what I'm presenting you is we're a career center. We serve the high schools in Beaufort and Jasper. Our welding program directly feeds into a number of manufacturers, both locally and statewide and beyond. And One of the things we get when we have our advisory meetings, which is when our business partners come in for breakfast to meet with our teachers and our staff and our students, that they want some graduates who have some CNC and advanced fabricating skills when they're applying and coming into their companies and joining the workforce locally. And you can see some of our partners at the bottom that support us and that we place students at. We have South Carolina Ports, we have Boeing, we have JBC, Gulfstream, and JCB, pardon me, I always say that backwards, and Gulfstream. And I'll give you an example of how those partnerships work. We had some students, one of them is from Hardeeville, I believe, and one of them is from one of the schools in Beaufort. They went up last summer as juniors and worked at Boeing. They were paid a salary to do an internship up there. They were also given a $3,500 cost of living stipend, so they got to live up there in North Charleston. And they both have job offers before senior year even began. So they are both going to be going to work for Boeing in North Charleston. One is a painter and one is a mechanic. So the student from Hardeeville was actually painting aircrafts, which is kind of a cool thing. He's in our auto collision program, but painting is painting, right? Painting vehicles, painting vehicles. So again, we have a number of partners locally and nationally that we tap into that give us some of this feedback. You want to talk about the need for the equipment?
Obviously, we have some points on the board, but the biggest point is that we're trying to update some of our outdated equipment and bring in newer technology to help students grow on that automated side of the field. Basically, there is so many new opportunities for operators, machine operators, but you still have to have the background knowledge for metalworking and for welding or whatever, trade you pick. But as far as getting the new equipment, it's just like everything else, it's going up. So I think with the companies that we partner with, Boeing and Gulfstream and all of them, a lot of them are going to more automation. And then on top of that, there is other manufacturers in state that use CNC machines and automatic welders and arms and stuff like that, that would be great opportunities, such as like what BMW and Tyco and other places throughout the state. So we're just trying to make sure that our students are getting more opportunities with newer equipment and progressing as much as we can get them to progress.
Awesome. Great.
There's a picture of our current plasma cutter, what it looks like. You can see how disappointed those students are in the middle there, standing in front of it. I mean, I think that as members of this group, you'd want to turn those frowns right upside down and upgrade. But you can see it's over 20 years old. It's still working, luckily, but it's taken a beating. And see the computer up there. I think that's my old Commodore 64 up in the corner on the left. For those of you who I'm probably dating myself, but. We can't even upgrade the computer because there's the software won't go on.
Yeah, you need the 3.5-inch floppy disk to update
Yes,
it.
for sure. Like it's that old. So what we're looking for is to replace that and upgrade to the latest technology. Ultimately, we'd ask for a new plasma cutter. We have a quote from them that we provided you from the company Torchmate, and that will help us, further our hands-on and our automation with our students, as well as programming, which they have to do. If you notice with that, it comes with CAD installed, so they'll be working on CAD to design their cuts and create their fabrications. So ultimately, we want to produce graduates that are ready for work, and one of the things that we're hoping to do with this and continue with our upgrade of our facilities that'll be coming down the line is put students in position where they're in state-of-the-art shops, on state-of-the-art floors in cosmetology and barbering, and learning the current way of doing things, instead of sometimes using machines that they won't see in the workforce, because that's really not doing them a service. It's doing them a disservice, because when you're using old tech and old machinery and then you go get hired, there's a little gap with your skill, and we want to have them be prepared to go out and work. Here's a picture of the
That is the newer generation of machines that you can see in comparison to, there is no computer, it is the computer. As far as for the students, them getting access to those types of systems will just broaden their horizons. It can give them more certification options and better outlooks on it, because it might change their outlook on what they want to do.
And the company providing that, Lincoln Electric, is a partner of ours. They're a state vendor, so it eliminates that need to go out to bid. And the good thing is, if we were awarded this, there'd be a quick turnaround when the funds came to this. So we would hope that maybe by the end of this semester, starting in January, our kids would be getting trained on this technology, I guess, and able to use it. And there's just, according to your rubric, there are 3 indicators you really want to look at: in employability, industry demand, and economic development. And employability, obviously, students gain experience on the same equipment used by professionals in that field now in the industry. The demand is, again, CAD, CNC, and we talked about our partners and their needs. So that's from our partners, Miles, when we have our advisory, the demand to work on that equipment. And of course, economic development. And as you know, and I put a quote in there from Business News Magazine, South Carolina's fastest growing municipality is here, right? And you can read 1,000 different quotes about Hardeeville and how quick they're growing and their national rank, but it's something that, I'm sure you guys are proud of, and something that we're proud of as well is the growth. Just driving here from Ace, the amount of buildings and houses that are going up is really remarkable. And what we want to do is when these companies come here, obviously, I look at Ace as one of the primary developers of their workforce, right? I mean, hire local. They want a solid workforce, and this helps, provide that. And what I always try to explain when we have stakeholders in is, they hire from Ace, the student stays local. That money that they're earning from these high-end salaries is back in this economy, and that's what is a healthy economy, right? The money is flowing. It's coming in, staying local, but getting spent here too by the students who live here. So, it's that cycle that is going to keep Hardeeville's growth continuing, and putting the students and workers in position to stay here locally. And with the port coming, we know that there's going to be welders, and there's going to be the need for CNC machines and so forth.
Basically, we also use our plasma cam to create projects and stuff to let the students practice on for their AWS certifications and future certifications. It also gets them ready for Skills USA, which is the state competition, which hopefully eventually will get to a national. But by allowing them to do this, it opens up the horizons on these machines, because they can create their own files and their own projects that interlock like puzzles. And then they go and create, actually physically create them and weld them together. A lot of our competitions that we've done for Skills were the same basic thing. They were purchased outside of state. They were laser cut or CNC cut or plasma cut, and then the students had to fabricate them for the competitions. So this helps us practice for that. It helps them practice for industry certifications. It just kind of ties everything up in a bow and lets them just get more time on equipment that they might not necessarily run into at other places.
Financial condition and stability. We're obviously a publicly funded career center, so funding is not an issue. We purchase the consumables that go along with this through our general fund. We're funded 2/3 by Beaufort, 1/3 by Jasper, and that's ongoing. I don't feel like there's any worries in terms of the investment. And as you can see, the lifespan on this machine is 10 to 15 years. Not the current 20 to 30 that's on our current machine, but it's pretty good. And they're willing to come out training. They have, as you can see, the Torchmate Academy comes with it, where it's training for not only instructor who is going to be new to this, but the students as well. So I think it's soup to nuts, a pretty solid investment, because it comes with the training, comes with the support, comes with the warranty, but also comes with the installation too. So it's going to cover us on almost every facet of worries that you may have. And the timeline, as I said, within 30 days, if we were awarded this, we would have the purchase and scheduled delivery, would be set up shortly after, And then once that is in place, we can begin the training for the instructor and the students, and then integrate it into our curriculum. So we're hoping, as I said, if we are lucky enough to be awarded this, that we could have our students working on that this year. And our community impact, more skilled graduates entering the workforce. I talked a little bit about that with the cycle, the economic cycle that would help. Again, we get calls from a lot of our feeder schools, like in both counties, not just the high schools. We're talking about the elementaries, the middle schools, community organizations for projects, and a lot of it does require welding in our construction or both together. We'll be able to provide a better product and more different varieties of product. So that might be signage. I mean, if you walk into Ridgeland Ridgeland High School, they have a big sign that was created by us that was welded. It will also help us expand dual enrollment with TCL. They have a welding program. They have state-of-the-art equipment, as do two of the welding programs in Beaufort County. So in terms of equipment, we're a little bit behind those two as well. And again, continue to elevate us as one of the best career centers, if not the best career center in the state. And that's really it. We're trying to keep it short and as we were instructed to. But any questions or comments, we would love to hear them and address them.
Yes, sir. Any questions from members of the board?
The only question I had was your travel fees within your budget. Is that for having the company come down and do all the training?
Do the
and all that
training
kind of
and the
stuff?
installation, yes. But hopefully, because Lincoln's a partner, once we get down to that level of purchasing, we can maybe negotiate a little bit of a deal with them because, we do purchase a lot of equipment from them, and they're really good in responding and helping us out when needed. Mhm.
Me, just curious, have you ever talking to Eddie Jackson, that former, with Palmetto Training? Have you ever spoke with Eddie?
Yes, the Palmetto, the apprenticeship, South Carolina.
Well, it's also Palmetto Training was part of this program that, company and stuff that he ran also. So yeah, so he's part of both of those programs.
Mhm.
The city actually started a workforce training program of its own a few years back. We did do some welding, and we're at CDL, and we're still operating those type services. And it's basically, it's national certification programs. And then we're looking at, after the end of the year, maybe working with TCL and stuff again as well. We have the welding machines. We have the brand new Lincolns and stuff as well. The booths. We can do up to 20-some people at a time training. But it's a good contact that I can at least connect you two with.
I would love to.
He's full of information,
Mhm.
and he's actually doing a bunch of different jobs and stuff right now. So if you don't mind, I'll share that information.
No, please do. I mean, with the more contacts, the better. And like I said, we're all working towards the same goal, right? In vitalizing the economy locally, right?
Yeah, so just for him, though, he's ran welding here for us for years, but also the CSC part of it.
Mhm.
He ran out of Waterboro for even longer.
Right.
So a lot of experience, especially working with the schools and different things of that sort.
Awesome.
So, okay.
Thank you, sir. Hope we can.
Any other questions from members of the board? The only comments I have for you, Michael, are I think clearly the updating the technology is kind of self-evident in terms of the justification and why there's a benefit to it. But one of the things that I'd like to see potentially as a part of a presentation next year or a future presentation when you come back is looking at that return on investment that is kind of limited to Hardeeville. So either Hardeeville residents that are participating in your program that get connected with employment, or that are participating in your program and get connected with Hardeeville businesses that are looking for employment. Either one.
I understand.
But the more that you can tie that back into, the more that we can help show that with this investment, we get a return through our community directly.
Understood.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Apologies
Bill.
for keeping you waiting a little
Not a
bit.
problem.
But
Thank you for
if there are
having
any
us.
follow-up questions, we'll reach out and let you know. And then as soon as we're done with our deliberations, we'll let you know where you stand.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks, and have a good
Thank you
weekend.
both very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
and keeping you waiting out there. We've been trying to get through these as quickly as we can, but we also want to make sure to let everybody have an opportunity to speak because everybody's so proud of their organization.
And I do have a handout. I don't know if you're accepting handouts.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for having us. My name is David Lima. I'm the president of John Paul since March. I brought with me Heather Rembold. She's our school principal, and Brian Quinty, who's our director of development. So we just really honored that you even would let us come and talk to you today. So thank you for that. And I was told to go pretty quick, so I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can. So we know that we're shooting for the stars here for grant money, but what we're trying to do is two things. We are trying to build what's called an innovation center, which is a new high school. So right now we have a total population of 415 students. Of that, over 50 come from the Hardeeville area, so a little over 12% of our population. Right now, we can only take 420 as our max capacity in what we have, since we don't have a high school building and our students are in trailers. So we are a little bit shy of starting our groundbreaking of our new innovation center. But what that would do is that would increase the amount of students from Hardeeville would be able to take. We'd be able to go from about 300 students in the high school to almost close to 500. So we're talking a substantial increase in enrollment. And we know with the boost of in the Hardeeville area, being a Hardeeville resident myself, I see it happening. Also, we are high on the STEM programs. So it'll actually, once our students graduate from John Paul, they will actually help our workforce. They'll be more qualified to get into the workforce with the STEM programs that we're offering. We're also trying to start our athletic side. So we do not have a football field, as I'm sure a lot of you know. We use your facility right here. We're trying to build a football stadium. By stadium, let me just be clear about that. A football field with some stands where our students can play football at home with some lights. We're also trying to get tennis courts. Tennis courts are almost impossible to rent now because over 80% of tennis courts in our area are converting from tennis courts to pickleball. So, and we have two very successful tennis teams, and we'd really like to have them at home. Now, the benefit to Hardeeville of us having a field, we then could allow Hardeeville to use our field for those that live on that side of Jasper County. So if we have a field and a track, on the weekends, if you have Pop Warner teams, if you have any youth sports teams, we'd be more than happy to open that up because we would love more kids to actually get on our campus. If your kids are coming in, they someday might actually enroll in our school. So it actually benefits us more than just us having a field. Same with our tennis courts. Since tennis courts are very hard to find, we would be more than happy when John Paul's not using tennis courts to allow Hardeeville residents to come and actually play tennis, since that's not something that they can probably do right now because they're probably finding pickleball. So what are the benefits? I've talked about it. It strengthens the long-term workforce pipeline. We can add an additional quality education for those residents of Hardeeville, another option for them. It supports population growth because the bigger we get, it allows more people to come in, more people get excited for more schools. So it helps everybody. And it enables after-hour use of our school. So we would also, if we had an innovation center that was large enough, it would be large enough for town meetings. It'd be another voting location if that was something that was, if everyone was open to. It's just another location that you can use as a meeting space. Again, the more people that come on our campus, it benefits y'all and it benefits us. So, and that is, I went as fast as I could.
That was awesome. No, that was perfect. That really was spot on.
All right.
Are there any questions from members of the board?
I mean, the only thing I would address is that we see the ask in the grant itself, and we know what the ask was. Unfortunately, if you read the grant guidelines, the capital construction was tied to university growth as far as the college or university. So the other two categories would be 10,000 or 25,000. The 25,000 is minor capital improvements, which could aid a portion of your construction project or something of that sort. So just letting you know that, I mean, you would be probably bumped down to that 25,000 range as far as your project.
100%. And for us, as I was saying, as we were coming in, $100, not that we only want 100, but $100 is more than I had yesterday.
Sure.
So
Yep.
any dollar amount helps. We're not obviously, we always put, this is what we need, and then we're gracious for whatever is allowed.
So knowing that this would just be kind of a small component of your overall funding needs, how is the fundraising going towards these goals?
Sure. So for our innovation center, we're at $8 million, and we need to get to 12 in order to break ground. So we're very close. We were given an additional $3 million from the Diocese of Charleston. So we're looking at, and then 100,000 came in earlier this week. So we can break ground once we hit 900,000 more. So we're getting close on the innovation side. On the sports side, people like to give to stadiums and churches. So we have been pretty successful on our athletic fields. We will hopefully, knock on some wood very quickly, be able to have a home football game at JP2. We might not have track and we might not have tennis, but our goal is to have all of our home football games, soccer games, and lacrosse games at JP2.
They've been doing a lot of site work here recently. We've been watching it happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we were blessed by the Friends of Carolina gave us over $1 million of dirt. So we were able to level off our yard because if you were over there at one point, it was rocky, it was hills and valleys and all mud. And now it's straight and it's ready to actually have a field put on that location. So we were very blessed that they wanted the dirt off their property. We wanted the dirt on ours. So we did all we could to get it over to us.
Very nice.
So our hope is for football is to be able to start having games in August. So we have been we've been working with Dominion, and they're going to we had a donor give us money to put power in the fields because there's no power out there. We have a donor who's willing to give us one set of bleachers, so we're looking at another set. So 25,000 that would cover bleachers and a press box. We had another donor give us goal posts. We had another donor, if it all works out, I'll find out in the next few days, is going to give us lights for the facility so we could actually do night games. If we can't do lights, that's okay. We'll play at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and just wait until our lights come.
There you go. Very nice.
Is Dominion doing the work for you?
They will do all the work for us. They will put.
Are they given? Are they donating that? Or?
They're donating some to it. They've lowered some of the cost. Transformers are pretty expensive, but they are helping us get it to the lowest possible cost that they can.
Starting out be a grass field.
It will be grass, yes. So as you know, turf is over $1 million. So it's our long-term goal is turf, but right now it'll be grass.
Understood.
Well, we've definitely enjoyed having you on our turf, so
Yeah.
it's sad to see you all go.
Thank you.
But it's great to see the growth of the campus over the past 12 years.
No doubt.
It's tremendous. So.
It is. I mean, we're at the largest enrollment we've ever had. We'll be at 418 after break, so we can only fit 2 more students. And it's great to see our campus flourishing. 88 acres will be pretty filled pretty quickly.
Wonderful. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all so much. Apologies again for the delay. If there are any follow-up questions, we will reach out and let you know. And then when we're done with our deliberations, we'll let you know kind of the outcome of where we're at.
Great. Thank you so much. I really
Awesome.
appreciate you
Thank you so
giving us
much.
the time.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you.
apologies for the delay. We're trying to move through these fairly quickly, but we also want to give folks an opportunity to talk about their
I
organizations.
completely understand.
Because everybody's
It's
very, very
important to
proud
us
of
all.
what they do. Yes. So, but with that, it's just an opportunity to really kind of hear the summary of your application, and that way, if there are any questions, we can have a quick dialogue with you. Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, my name is Brian Morris. I'm from Royal Live Oaks Academy Charter School, where I serve as the director of the academy. And I would like to start by saying thank you, because we at Royal Live Oaks greatly appreciate the being part of the community of Hardeeville. I always feel that school and community are important to completely serve our children. And we take educating children very seriously. We love the partnership we have with the city of Hardeeville. The police department, the fire department are actively involved in our school, and we appreciate that as well. So thank you all, and we appreciate the city of Hardeeville. Definitely, we appreciate the grant from last year, which we used to implement and install irrigation system on an area, part of the end of our school, which we use for soccer practices. We use for PE, because we do not have a gymnasium yet. So we do a lot of outdoor PE, and we use it for recess. And if it's not maintained and kept, it becomes even harder than it already is. And it's just a sand and dirt pile, which then gets tracked into the building, which means we're cleaning a lot more in the building as well. So we do appreciate the grant from last year. We've used the money to install the irrigation system and bring in some dirt and some sand. We're still in the process of doing that, because one of the things we do not have over there is a permanent source of power. So we're running the irrigation system on a battery pack, on a temporary service, which we're having to bring over, hook up, take back over, recharge occasionally to keep it irrigated. So the purpose of applying again is to, the initial intent was to put in permanent power so we could have permanent power to the irrigation, and then eventually work on some lighting systems. And ideally, you know, we have a great relationship with the rec center, I think, I hope. We do appreciate them very, you know, because we have all our home volleyball games, all our home basketball games there, all our home soccer matches over here. So, but we'd like to continue that. And if we got that area to where it was safe and secure and we had lights, you know, we could open up to maybe some soccer leagues where we had fields going, you know, at the city of Hardeeville field and over here. So it's something that we're looking into, and if we can secure that area and set it up to where we feel comfortable practicing on 100% of the time, we'd feel much more comfortable opening it up to community use as well. In that process, however, you know, we're a charter school, our funding is limited. I'm not going to get into the big funding thing, but basically if we get any federal dollars, Title I, because we are a Title I school, and then the other is state aid to classroom, and that's it. Those are the only two funding sources we as a charter school receive. So the water main coming into our building just broke here about a month and a half ago. I spent $10,000 to repair the water main coming into the building. Not to mention the water bill that I haven't seen yet, that I'm worried about, because it took us a couple weeks before we got it all taken care of. Yeah, I appreciate that. So that's $10,000 that I had to take and pay out of state aid to classroom instruction, because I don't have another funding source. So anytime we can get some assistance, we greatly appreciate that assistance. Moving forward now, I'm in a situation where I want to run power out there, but I have two electric lines that are feeding the lights in our parking lot that don't work. So I've had it diagnosed, I've had it chased down, and I found two lines that need, you know, underground lines that need to be replaced. Got a quote, $12,000. So that's to get power to the parking lot so that I can then move power to the field. And all of these things just kind of add up. Now, keep in mind, we moved into the building. It's a brand new building. We moved in January of 2020. And then we've had to replace or fill in 3 sinkholes where water lines or drain lines, I believe, have separated underground and created sinkholes. We've had to, again, I just replaced or repaired the water line, the water main coming into our building. That was $9,800. I'll give you the exact number for that. Anything over $10,000, I have to get 3 quotes for. So, because we're, state money. And now I have had the light situation since the end of last school year. So it's not new, but we have to have those repaired so that I can then run power over to the field. So we're here before you, or I'm here before you, asking on behalf of this Hardeeville Royal Live Oaks Academy for some money to help us repair those lines so that we can move to the field with electric.
Makes sense. All right.
All right.
Any questions from members of the board?
I have one question. Dominion is, I know, doing the Royal Oaks that Perino is doing. Is that making it any better in your area for getting power?
Farino? Well, so I thought that the parking lot, because I totally investigated and called and researched and everything else, because I'm going, okay, are these power, are they put in by, I knew it wasn't the city, but,
Right.
Who's, some parking lots are done by Dominion and some lights are, but it's not. It was done by the school, so.
I got you.
When they researched
To
it.
the area that you're trying to get the lighting to, I know you have to do the 2 parking, but, and John, keep me honest here, but that townhome development, I know it kind of comes in by the academy. I didn't.
One is on the other side of us and one is behind us, the
Okay.
new one that they're building in.
So the direction, is that make it easier to get it to you, or?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. No, ma'am.
No, I don't think Dominion does much for private. See, we even have to pay for electric now, which we didn't
Right.
used to have to, but we're on both sides of the school,
Right.
in the front and the back. And I think their primary source comes off of John Smith Road.
Okay.
So they would just have to refeed that back to them. It wouldn't really affect anything that we.
No,
we
I
could-
was
we
just
couldn't
thinking
have-
maybe if it was, if a
And-
transformer was
Yeah, since they were
close.
in the area.
One of the things that we're looking at, because prior to Royal Oaks being beside us, we were pretty open. So anyone coming over the overpass, over top of I-95, coming down that little knoll,
Right.
could see us pretty clearly because the building was there. Now with the building of the houses, without our parking lots, it's pretty dark in the morning.
Right.
And we have had a couple accidents there where a car is slowing down to stop to turn in and somebody coming over that not paying attention. And I will grant that, that was the driver not paying attention, but still makes it a little bit harder to.
Limit would help.
Pardon me?
The speed limit there.
Absolutely. Well, we've asked several times, and this isn't the city of Hardeeville, this is, DOT, but we're a school, can we have the blinking school lights? And they said, well, it's not a such and such, I don't know the whole logistics of that, but we do have a sign, but no blinking lights, so. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Any other further questions? Thank you so much.
I
sir. We
appreciate
really
you all. I
it.
appreciate
Yep.
your consideration, and thank you for all you do for our community, because it's amazing. We appreciate you guys.
If there are any follow-up questions, we'll let you know, and then as soon as
Absolutely.
we're finished with our deliberations, we'll put together a report, and then we'll let you know where you stand.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
He's not coming in here and watching your presentation.
She told me
Kind of a
she's gonna come in here and make faces.
half
at me.
dozen kind of thing,
Yeah,
but maybe
and do all of the.
Have you met the city manager?
at some point.
It does, if you don't have funding.
I can
Correct.
tell. This
Yeah,
is. I'm Jordan.
Howdy.
I'm Jordan Tootin's mom.
No, wonderful. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
We love working with Jordan. She,
Well,
Hopefully she feels the same way.
No, she loves working for Hardeeville, but I know all of the good stuff about her.
I got you. I got you.
Probably know all the good stuff about us too, right?
No, she doesn't complain about anything here.
You're so good here.
Well, welcome. Apologies for keeping you waiting. We've been trying to move these fairly quickly, but we also want to give everybody an opportunity to get all the information out about their application. And so apologies again for keeping you.
No problem at all. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, we'd like to, I'm Alicia Crosby. I am the high school director at Thomas Hayward Academy. This is Brittany Shealy. She is the lead science teacher for Thomas Hayward. We'd really like to thank you for considering our application for the Hardeeville Community Transformation Project. Our agenda, we're just going to go really quickly through the project and grant requests, scope of work, project cost, and how it's going to impact Hardeeville, not just for students, but potentially for job fields. Our project is we are looking to modernize our THA science and classroom laboratory. We are trying to, when we get down to the project cost, you'll see we are trying to go more AI with our AI technology so we could do more national communication stuff. We are working to upgrade technology so that when we have children who want to go into health science field, they will be more qualified to use the updated equipment. We are going to replace the lab equipment, acquire digital microscope sensors. We have been donated already the necessary electrical upgrades. If we receive this grant, we have a family who has donated any electrical services and equipment we need to do that. And we also have them here to provide faculty professional development in STEM instruction. The project cost, as you can see on slide 1 and 2 here, are all of the equipment that we are requesting. If there's any questions about any of that equipment, I would direct that over here to my science teacher. Our proposed budget is the school will fund $5,262. The Hardeeville grant, we're asking for $10,000 for a total of $15,262. And like I said, any electrical or HVAC upgrades have already been donated to us. The impact, number one, we have several students who even are y'all's judge, Nancy, her students come to our school in Ridgeland. Improve the educational quality. We are trying to do more advanced AP placement science classes, enhance workforce readiness aligned with regional needs, and increase our STEM environment. And we will do surveys to measure and gauge in test scores to measure the performance and upgrades if this grant is applied. This is one of the big ones in our opinion. By 2037, it is noted that we have a possibility of having a 19% shortage of healthcare professionals for South Carolina. If by increasing science-based classes in our local schools, our hope is to increase the readiness and the willingness to maybe go into more of the health field sciences and the environmental sciences, which our area is going to desperately need as we go forward, especially as we are expanding, and Hardeeville is such an integral part of that expansion for our area. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions from members of the board?
For me, how many students do you currently have?
400.
Yeah, 400.
Well, approximately 400.
And what is that as far as capacity wise? I mean, can you hold 700? Can you hold 600?
We can.
You can
Before the crash, the stock market crash, we used to have a 600 person student body, and then the crash happened and we went down. In the last 2 years, we've seen increase, and even right now, I should have included this, even right now, we have inquiries. I think there's 40 students on the waiting list right now for next year.
That's awesome. Now, with the city growing and stuff, do you all run any type of public transportation type system, like a bus route or?
So we used to, and then the need was the need didn't happen anymore. We used to run a bus to Hardeeville for years. But we are looking to start a bus back to Beaufort and to Hardeeville because we're actually getting a lot of Beaufort students as well, but Hardeeville and Beaufort.
Population growth for us, so,
Correct.
thank you.
Wonderful. Any other questions from members of the board? Wonderful. Thank you so much again. Apologize. I know that was a very quick, a lot of waiting for just a very brief period of time, but it's always better to have this in-person conversation than to try to discern everything from just a paper application. So really appreciate the opportunity to hear from you and then to be able to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you so much for having us today.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We weren't too quick.
No, it's perfect. Right what we were looking for. Education training program, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any board member comments that we want to have in open session? I think the only thing that I would say is it was great. Everybody seemed to understand kind of what we were looking to accomplish, and most folks were pretty good about keeping it kind of contained in terms of a short presentation. So I think it was a very good start to this process, and we'll continue to refine it as we go forward in the future.
And I think it's important, I mean, I know that a few of us work really closely with each of those nonprofits, but for us to be a nonprofit foundation board ourselves, it's good for all the board members to kind of get to see the people that's doing things here in the side of the city as well. So it's very important.
Awesome. Okay. If there are no other comments, I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session for purposes of discussion of the applications for the Workforce and Education Training Program. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. We are now in executive session.